Hi, I'm Trevor with We Are Teachers, and we are here live at ISTE 2018 here at the Epson booth. And you know, for a while as a teacher, I was really into project-based learning, experiential learning, and I found after not very long that it's really hard to do some of that really engaging type of work in a traditional classroom. It didn't have the flexibility and the adaptivity to do the things that I wanted. And so we want to have a conversation today about how do you make your school more flexible, more adaptive to do the kind of work that your students need to do in the 21st century. First, we want to talk to Chad Lewis, who is the Director of Technology at the Tampa Preparatory School. Chad, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. How's ISTE been for you?
Been awesome.
Oh, what a rush.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much going on here.
A lot of cool stuff.
So I'm really excited to talk to you about how your school became more adaptive, more flexible for your students. Can you tell us just the story of that, where you were and how you became kind of a more adaptable environment?
Sure. About 6 years ago, our head of school came to me and said, hey, Chad, we want to create an active learning environment in the school. Our school was great. It was a one-to-one iPad school. However, the architecture, furniture, AV hadn't changed that much. So we went to the teachers and we said, we didn't even talk about products. We talked about things they wanted to be able to do in the classroom. What's important for learning? And they came up with words like flexibility, collaboration, visual and auditory equity. So no matter where you are in the classroom, you have the same experience.
Can I ask you, how did the teachers come to that conclusion that that's some of the things they wanted?
Well, they're veteran teachers, so they've been teaching for many years. A lot of these things they just saw in their traditional environment. They're like, wow, I wish that Johnny could see as well as Susie. I want to be able to rearrange the classroom in different setups on the fly. I want to be able to have students show their work as readily as I can show my work.
So I imagine you had to do some research to figure out what you wanted. What did that look like for you?
Well, we did a lot of research, and after we took the concepts from the teachers, which was very important, not only involving the teachers, but students. We interviewed students as well. What's important for them in their learning. And we came up with a lot of things. One of which was the ability to see the image that's being displayed very clearly. That's where we came up with this concept of no front or back of the classroom. And what I mean by that is, no matter where you sit in the classroom, you have this front row seat because we've got 2 projectors per room.
And so nobody in the room is left out.
Yeah, there's
well, because I mean, I think about when I was in high school, my entire time I was the kid that sat in the back of the room. And it was really easy kind of to hide and not get engaged in what was going on. I mean, was that kind of the inspiration for you and your teachers to change?
The students are much more engaged than they were previously. Even though we were a one-to-one school, you still had static rows. You still had the kids trying to sit at the back, not being engaged, being off task. So now the teacher can walk around the entire classroom wirelessly distributing their content or pull up another student's content to the projector as well. So kids are much more on task when they know that at any moment their screens can be displayed.
Now, what kind of stuff are your students doing now? Has it changed the pedagogy, the curriculum?
There's been a huge curricular change. A lot more teachers embracing project-based learning, a lot more collaborative work between students, a lot less solely lecture-based lesson plans.
I have to imagine that your kids must love it.
They do love it.
What has the reaction
they said
been for kids?
One of the kids said it's like learning in a IMAX movie theater, right? So, and they said there's nowhere to hide from learning. There's, everyone's engaged. That's why after that first 3 years, we moved to do the high school. We did the middle school first. 3 years after that, we did the entire high school. So the entire school is the same.
So was there at least one group of kids who were in the middle school, or you went to high school first, you said?
Middle school first.
Okay, so did you ever have kids that went from middle school to high school and they lost this adaptive environment?
No, that would have been a deal breaker. So we knew we had to have it so that when those first kids who started in the 6th grade, by the time they got to the 8th or the 9th grade, we couldn't put them back in time.
Sure.
We couldn't say, hey, step back, now go to a traditional learning environment. We knew we had to have it ready, and we did that. Over the summer, we transformed the upper school in the same ALA.
So I imagine for a teacher who obviously wants this stuff but hasn't used it before, to have interactive boards on the wall and, to have, be able to use projectors on every side of the room, did that take some professional development and training?
A little bit, but surprisingly, one of the mantras for me in IT is to make it seamless technology. I don't want technology to get in the way of learning and teaching.
Sure.
And we did a really good job of that with the way we built out the entire active learning environment. The learning curve was very minimal to transform from what we used to be, which was a smart board school, into an Epson Bright Link.
So you say you do use Epson. Why Epson? How did you land on that in your research?
That was part of the research for the visual aspect. We looked at LED TVs as well as projectors. And, what we found was that for the price point of one large form factor TV, we can get 2 Epson Bright Links.
Okay.
So that was what enabled us to have a no front or back of the classroom. If we had gotten a TV and put it up in front, I have a slide I like to use. It has somebody with a chalkboard.
Yep.
Then it has somebody with an overhead projector. Then it has somebody with a smart board. And really, by adding the second one, you're giving that same ability to the students to distribute their content as well. Plus, the Epson had this software called iProjection app.
Okay.
iProjection app allows you to pull students' content up to the projector, but not just one, but up to 4. So for comparative work, for collaboration, you can pull 1, 2, 3, 4 students' work up and look at them real time together.
Oh, that's
so if you
brilliant.
want to compare Susie's work to Johnny's, you can do that, and that's unlike I've seen in any other options.
Oh, I think back in my time, there was that one overhead projector in the front of the room,
Right.
and everybody had to see whatever was projected up there, and it was all controlled just by the teacher. Now, do
Right.
students have some control over what goes on the screens too? Is that an option?
Yeah, the students can connect. We do have, in addition to the Epsons, we have Apple TVs too. So we have kids connecting with Apple TVs. We have kids connecting to the Epson iProjection as well. What I like about iProjection too is that if a kid drops out, the color of their name turns a different color.
Okay.
So they know the kids aren't on task. Because that's one thing that teachers always have to deal with a one-to-one environment. If kids have an iPad in front of them, what keeps them on task other than me walking around? Well, with this, you can see the kid is no longer engaged.
Wait, are you suggesting that kids ever get off task with technology?
Never.
Come
I
on.
never passed
Come
notes.
on.
I never wrote love letters or whatever,
Yeah. Well, and so I'd love to have Jason Meyer. He's a representative for Epson. Jason, could you maybe come in and show us on how some of this technology works?
Yeah. So I'm going to show you iProjection. Chad uses iProjection in his school, and what iProjection does, it's a projection platform for student devices and teacher devices.
Okay.
So the teacher actually has a dashboard. You see it up here on the screen. And the teacher can control everybody that's connected. Up to 50 students can connect to the system. The teacher can see everyone that's connected. The teacher can choose to show just her desktop, which is what you see here, or she can go up to 4 up at a time. So you can see, right here you're seeing me and 3 other students.
Okay.
Right? You can actually move these students around. You can move one student up here if you want people to see that one better. You could also, going back to just the teacher, I could go back to my screen and then I can lock the student devices out.
Okay.
So if you want to draw the attention back to the instructor, you can do that. So it's a very simple platform. It's easy to use. We have a lot of customers using it today. And this comes with all Epson education projectors.
Well, so as a project-based learning teacher, one of the things I've often had to do was, we'd have students show whatever their work was. So if they created a video, they'd have to come up to the front of the room, plug it in, get the HDMI to fit, and then change the input, and then they could show their project.
Yeah.
So you're saying they can stay at their desk and teachers can just go and click on their
That's
screen
right.
and pull it up. What about audio? Does it connect the audio as well?
It does not connect to audio.
Okay.
So this doesn't do audio in its current form. There's other software platforms that do that, but this does not do audio.
But it does show, like if they had a video playing, you could pull it up and show their video?
Yeah, for sure.
That's
yeah,
brilliant.
I mean, most of the content that is projected in classrooms is at the front of classrooms is still images, and then they pull in video from time to time.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, it's a platform that comes free with all of our devices.
Okay, I love it. So it's it's a classroom management tool because you're able to watch everything, but it's also a tool to use when you're doing innovative work.
Yeah,
with kids.
most importantly, I mean, it allows the teacher to move around the room, which
Absolutely.
is what they want to do.
I love it. And if you're just tuning in, we're here at the Epson booth where we're talking about adaptive, flexible learning spaces. Chad, could you come in and maybe just tell us a little bit about how has this transformed your school? I mean, I'm guessing that this was probably a big undertaking in your district to decide to, incorporate a whole new way of setting up your classroom. What has it done for your school?
Yeah, like I alluded to before, it's been transformational. The teaching methods that are being used, the engagement of students has been transformed. We've got 98 Epson projectors on campus. We've got 680 students. We have roughly 8 students per projector, so a lot of Epson projectors. But it's been especially having the second one in there really have been transformational. But the level of engagement is through the roof. The fact that you can walk by the same classroom 2 times in one period, and I can see, because we have mainly glass walls, what's happening. Completely different layouts, completely different things happening. I never see a kid, dozing off. I rarely see a kid playing a game on an iPad.
Yep.
So it's been pretty huge.
Sounds pretty incredible. I want to go visit your school.
And it is. We have had many places visit. I see a lot of talk about flexible learning environments, active learning environments. After 6 years in, we wouldn't change anything.
Really?
I think that, and I'm not saying that there's not other methods, a way of doing this, but we really would not change any of the tools we use or any of the methods of putting them in.
I love it. That's awesome. So, Jason, we're at ISTE, which is the biggest tech conference in North America, if I'm correct. Do you have any cool new gadgets or tools to tell us that's being introduced right now at Epson?
Well, in the last year, we're all about laser display technology.
Okay.
So we've launched several new laser-based projector displays in the last year. The newest one is our new PowerLight L projector. This is a portable laser projector.
What's the difference between laser and what we had before that?
So the huge benefit of laser is it's a no maintenance platform. There's no more lamps to change. So you get all the benefits of projection, which is large, bright images. We go minimum 100 inches, and often we project up to 300 inches.
Wow.
But now with laser, you don't have to worry about lamps or the cost associated with lamps.
Yeah, because if any teachers like me, you've been in a classroom where the red color doesn't work for 2 years on your lamp and they won't fix it. So I love that. That's exciting. And I really would like to come visit your classroom.
We would love for you to come by.
It sounds pretty incredible. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you want to throw out any suggestions you have for making your classroom more flexible or more adaptive, please just add to the comments here. We want to just keep this conversation going. So thanks for stopping by the We Are Teachers School Leaders Now page at ISTE 2018.